Assalamu alaikum, my good students. Today we are going to discuss fifth question for the first chapter of MPHIL English Linguistics, first semester. The course is Research Methods in Linguistics. So we have the course code, okay, ELING 701. 4 questions I have already discussed in my 4 lectures. So this is my 5th lecture. That is how many research questions. You have to, if I can share the screen, you can see, I've already discussed with you. You could see, now you can see, I have already discussed in my first lecture for MPHIL. This one is MPHIL English Linguistics, first semester, course Research Methods in Linguistics, core. Level is MPHIL and course code is ELING, that's 701. In my first lecture, I discussed that's research question in linguistics. That's actually the first question, but it has 10 topics. Each lecture I discuss one topic. If you can watch my previous videos, you will see the first video. The first lecture was why do we need research question. The second lecture was research questions, topics, and the fourth question was types of research questions. And now we are going to discuss how many research questions. So again, you have seen my video for listening, how you realize that this question is important for answering the first 4 questions. So last time I discussed different types of research questions and types of research methods like this. And the fourth, if you have seen my fourth video, fourth lecture, you will understand this one. So today's fifth question, how many research questions? This question inevitably, after considering the wide range of types of research questions, okay, is however asking about the length of a proverbial piece of string, okay. Broadly, most research projects use more than one research question, often different types. I've already given you in the previous lecture, I've given you one example of Mason, but Mason notes. He notes that in the early stages, it can be helpful to generate a lot of research questions. Ultimately, however, the rule of thumb is to ask only many research questions as can satisfactorily be addressed, okay? The issue is not the number of research questions, but what is needed in terms of data, analysis, time, and effort to answer a given research question that is the scale of given project. Some questions are bigger than others, okay? Basically, if you are a student, you're writing a thesis at graduation level, maybe 1 or 2 questions are enough. If you are at master level, 3 questions are enough. If you are at MPhil level, 4 to 5 questions. But at PhD level, they ask more questions because you have, wide data and you have to write a big thesis, 100,000 words. But MPhil thesis is 20,000 words. That's why research questions cannot be like PhD. You don't have 7 questions or 9 questions. In MPhil, so people, they start usually from 3 questions to 5 questions. Usually they start. When I was doing, in my MPhil thesis, I selected 3 questions because my MPhil thesis was reading comprehension. So these were related to reading complexity, difficulties in reading text level, and also, it was also, I conducted these 3 questions through a survey. So that's why I remembered Mason when I was telling you in the last lecture what he did, and now once again I said he wrote a book in 2002, and the words he spoke you will quickly need to focus on to ensure that you are designing a manageable project of your MPhil thesis. you're a student of MPhil, or you're a student of master degree. So that's why you need a research question to generate. Okay, it may be necessary to sacrifice the research question if it cannot be done justice to. See, for example, I have read Sunderland. In his book, he has written that painful though this may be, it may ensure that you avoid producing a superficial and diluted piece of work. Remind yourself that sacrificing a research question and all that goes with it often strengthens the study and provides material for a later piece of work. I mean, I'm talking about a publication in the making. For example, when I had two questions in my MPhil study for the final thesis with 20,000 words. So my MPhil supervisor was saying, if they're not enough, we have to have at least 5 questions. Then I increased one more question I created, and I created uh, a survey that was representing all variables and answering all questions. And also, uh, when I started writing the thesis and I went on literature review, when I completed my literature review and I started doing analysis in SPSS, I came to know there is one more question. Some questions automatically are generated. You don't know, but when you start writing thesis, you understand, oh, this is the question I need. Same happened to me in my PhD thesis. When I was completing my PhD in applied linguistics from University of Malaysia, Pahang, I think this is, for example, if I give you example on classroom interaction, I originally included research questions on wait time. For example, the amount of time a teacher gives a student to answer a question before answering it himself. Okay, and interruption. I abandoned the wait time question because it would have required special timing requirements. You try to understand, and the interruption questions because its conceptual complexity, which I could not have embraced within the scope of my thesis because that was too broad. It was a thesis with the mixed method research. When you have a mixed method research, you have survey questions, you have a survey, you have, I had experimental research, okay, quasi experimental research I had, and I also had interviews. So 3 types. Some people, they go for assessment, so it makes a thesis a very big and conceptual framework, according to the variables was a bigger one. Because nowadays you cannot do a PhD through a simple survey because there is more data and big data. You have to work hard because you have to write 100,000 words, 100,000 words. That's why the requirements are much more. And studies are becoming more and more complex nowadays. It's not when people were writing without softwares 30 years ago, there were no SPSS software, there were no qualitative softwares like MVO 12 or like Atlas J8. Now these have become a requirement for PhD. So also some universities, they are asking for SEMS. SEMS is a type of software in which it's a type of software in which you put the questions and you know all variables and you know the answers, what the variables are rightly adopted and taken, and the results, what they compare the results. It's the person who is expert in SPSS, he can do SEMS. So I learned during my PhD studies, and SEMS helped me in analyzing the data for making research questions, and also analyzing the data in chapter 4 in my PhD studies. Same, uh, it's not the requirement for MPhil students, but if the student has some background of statistics, he knows SPSS and he can also do SEMS. So that can help him to find whether the research questions were made rightly, whether the hypothesis was rightly made and answered rightly, and also the research questions were answered rightly, and it helps you writing your chapter 4, okay, where you have discussion part. So I discussed all these sacrifices until a sense of loss, but enabled me to address the remaining research questions more fully. I told you I had 5 in my PhD thesis. I had 5 research questions. I started writing, and all according to variables, and all according to dependent variables. But when I went for SAM's course, I adapted the SAMs, I implemented it on my thesis. I came to know that there are more two research questions, and then I added them. So the same you can also do. Oh, this is all about for today about how many research questions you should have. I told you usually MPhil thesis will have 2 to 3 research questions, not more than that. It's a smaller one, 20,000 words you have to write, and better to have an understanding with your supervisor, because when you complete your coursework, you are allowed to go for last semester in a thesis. So you have to collect data, you have to ask him. Most probably students, they go for a simple survey in MPhil classes in Pakistan, and they said, I think it's better to go for a model, so that it can help you to go the studies and to see how the others they have done, so it can be easy for you. So this is all about for today, and thank you very much. Have a nice day. Do not forget to subscribe and wait for the next lecture on question number on question number 6 for the MPhil English Linguistics first semester of course Research Methods in Linguistics core. And I mean, I'm talking about course code is ELING 701. I have already discussed first 5 questions now, and the 6th question you have to wait. I will upload video. Research questions and linguistic data. Okay, so research question and linguistic data, because I'm sorry, I'm too busy in my foreign university job. I can only do it on the weekend, and I don't have enough time for my students. But in spite that, I try, because I receive a lot of comments um, through Facebook, Messenger, on our applied linguistics group, and also through other social media. So I try to answer. Thank you very much. Bye bye. And wait for the next time. And do not forget to subscribe this channel, so that whenever I upload a new video, my MPhil students can get a new video well in time.